Hello and welcome to Healthy Snacking Fridays. Today we are going to be making an egg muffin. Not like an English muffin. We're going to be making a muffin that's made out of eggs. So it's very low on the glycemic index. So if you're trying to avoid sugar, this is fantastic. Very low in calories, low in carbs, low in sugar, and really delicious because it tastes like French toast. All right. So first you're going to start off. The recipe calls for 8 eggs, but I'm going to double it. So we're going to use 16 eggs. And I'm just going to crack them right into this blender or mixer, I should say, but you could use a blender if you don't have a mixer, or you can use a giant bowl and then use a hand mixer. We want to be careful not to get any shells. If you get shells, it should be pretty easy to take them out. So this is going to take just a little because I'm going to be doing 16 eggs. So I'm going to pause the video here and come back when all 16 are in. Okay, so we've got our eggs. Then the recipe calls for 1 block of cream cheese for every 8 eggs. So if you're going to do the single recipe, it's 8 eggs and 1 block of cream cheese. And again, I'm just going to mix it right into this mixer. I did let it sit out for just a little, so it was a little soft, but I have done this where the cream cheese just came right out of the fridge. And my mixer was powerful enough to mix it at that cold of a temperature. So there's 1 block. And I want this to zoom in. There we go. So there's 1. So it's 8 ounces of cream cheese, 8 eggs, and I'm just getting the other cream cheese out because I'm doubling this recipe. Get in there. All right, then you're gonna add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, I like cinnamon. 1 teaspoon is fine, but it's not really enough cinnamon for me. So I double that. If you really like cinnamon, try 2 teaspoons. If you really, really like cinnamon, add even more. If you're like, about cinnamon, add less. Very easy to customize and make it how you like. And then next, you need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So that's baking powder. There we go. And then I like to add a little bit of stevia. Doesn't need it, you can omit it, but I like to add just a little bit in. So I'm gonna add that in and I'm gonna start mixing. So when you mix, you just wanna be careful. It's very liquidy and it could come up the sides. So I started on a lower setting and move it higher as it starts to incorporate. But the eggs are gonna make it very liquidy and you don't want it to kind of splash out if you go right to a really fast high setting. So just start low and then you can turn it up as you go. Okay, so it looks pretty well incorporated. There's a little bit of cream cheese still stuck on the end of my blender, so I'm actually gonna mix that out. Okay, so you'll see there's still like little pieces of cream cheese. That's fine. Those actually, when you pour them in, they make little like bursts of cream cheese flavor in the muffins. So now we're gonna preheat our oven to 400 degrees. And while that's preheating, oh, my bowl is stuck, there it is. We're going to pour this into a muffin tin. So you want to make sure the muffin tin is well greased. You could use, the muffin inserts if you want. I just use a spray and make sure all of the corners are greased. All right, so I don't want to spill this everywhere, so I'm going to use like a smaller measuring cup or a spoon, and I'm just gonna pour it in right to the top. They are going to puff up a little, but once they sit, they fall back down. So when they're baking, it might seem like they're gonna overflow and it's gonna be a mess, but it's not. They're gonna stay contained and then they'll fall back down once they sit for a minute. So we have these French toast whipped eggs that I'm pouring in the muffin tin. And this is a 1/3 cup, and it seems to be the perfect size. Oops, perfect. All right, I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to put this in the oven once the oven preheats, and we're going to cook this for 18 minutes. Okay, so the timer just went off. I'm going to take the muffins out of the oven. You want to use care and use an oven mitt. Make sure that you're not touching, the muffins themselves just yet. We're gonna let them sit. So let me go grab those. Okay, so I put down a trivet or a pot holder, something to keep the hot plate away from the table or the counter. And here are the muffins. So we're going to just let them sit. I'm going to take them out. You see they look a little puffed up, but as they cool, they'll sink back down. They're already starting to shrink back down. You can see them. So I'm going to take these muffins, put them on this plate, and then pour some more batter in and do the next batch. So if you greased the pan well enough, they should just come right out. They're still a little hot, so I'm just going to be careful, but I just take a utensil and just, let's see if you can see, I'll do this one. Just kind of push on the side and just pop it right out. If it gets a little stuck somewhere, just be gentle. And it will come out. You can see like this little, like the white chunks up here, those are just the little pieces of cream cheese, and they taste really good. Just like bursts of cream cheese flavor mixed with cinnamon and a little bit of sugar. These are going to taste like French toast, but again, there's no flour in these. It's just eggs, little baking, is it baking powder? Yes, baking powder, some cinnamon, a little bit of sugar, and that's it. So if you have eggs in your fridge and you need to, use them up, this is a great snack. Low in sugar, it will fill you up, and it tastes like French toast I like to put a little bit of butter on it. You could drizzle some honey or some organic maple syrup, just a little. It really doesn't need a lot of sweetness. And here you go. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and enjoy.